Hey, good people, how are you? Yep, it is the market sniper, the crypto sniper, and the reset sniper. Let's get steady here. Coming at you. So, what a week. Had interesting responses to our top line level comments on Black Lives Matter on the reset sniper last week. For those of you that want to see those, it's on the reset sniper. Go have a look. But the topics I want to cover for today are what's behind and the future a defund police movement. So where does that take you? Second point I think is worthy of discussion. How does one prepare for a revolution? I would say at every level there will be deep-seated major revolutionary changes. So preparing for a revolution. The agenda behind defunding police, where it takes you. At the surface level, if you're an anarchist, it sounds attractive, but why they're doing it. And also just retouch and cap on the aspects that are developing in this Chaz territory run by rapper Simone, someone I'd never heard anything about before, probably unlikely to be in my sphere of influence, and where that whole, what are we calling it? I don't want to use the word anarchists, because anarchists I look at quite favorably, but this self-governing extortion racket that has essentially brought downtown Jamaica into a couple of blocks of Seattle. And how I see that all working out. And if that framing doesn't give you some idea, then I don't know what will. So let's get straight into it. Beautiful evening sun here, and I just thought I'd get a nice backdrop for you. But lots to talk about. So first of all, defunding the police. Largely this has come out of the left, the extreme left. We need to start using terms like the extreme left, because these are in fact Bolsheviks. They are being funded by people that intend to bring an Ashkenazi Bolshevik environment. This means, in essence, a full-blown communism. On that point, and some key tweets and things and messages that went out during the week that you wouldn't be privy to, we're getting to a point. You need to understand that in the American stats, the participation rate in the economy is exceedingly low. So what has the scamdemic and the funded, stoked racial riots provoked? Well, they've reaped more damage on small and medium enterprises that were hoping to get started and get functioning, those that didn't go bust with the 3 months enforced closure. By the way, in the UK, they've already downgraded the asymptomatic elements of COVID following recent, and the World Health Organization has backpedaled on that. So much for the scamdemic. They are going to try reheat that, because as I've said before, I think we're going to get a second and third visit on that basis, and it may come with a tweak and a detail additional, but they're trying to push back against some people that are more and more becoming greatly skeptic of the entire notion that they put forward. But let's stay on topic. We had the scamdemic has killed small and medium enterprises largely. Some are still attempting to open. They then had race-based riots and had to board up. They had their stock looted. They had their windows smashed. They'll probably have tenuous responses out of insurance companies that are taking a beating right now. In fact, on that point, there was one guy who supposedly had COVID and was on death's doorknob, and then came back from the brink and spent in essence 80 days, which by my calculation is roughly 2.5 months, just over 2.5 months. His overall bill for medical was $1.2 million, 400,000 of which just on a $5,000 a day rate. Now you can go to Barbados with your daughter for probably $5,000, air tickets and a great 5-star hotel for a week or possibly two. So to charge $5,000 a night, you can just imagine how these hospitals have been ramping up the gouging of financial systems. So everything is a gouge now. everything is a gouge, and all the financial systems, the insurers, all have to be gouged, and they're all hollowed out, and they're all debt shells, and they're all getting printed out QE to keep them going. So at the moment, the hospitals are getting an absolute milk it. Of course, you know about the ventilator incentives and the registering as a COVID-19 death incentives that so distorted the stats, and every other skullduggery that was designed to create a shock and awe and horror narrative that they plowed into all of us. But anyway, all those things having happened, what is defund police? Well, the idea is first to create a void of disorder, and that's led to a rapper who's now going around to all the white people in his little Seattle-based enclave of downtown Jamaica, and is collecting and insisting that the whites in there pay $10 to every black. So this guy is beginning his version of reparations or skin tax. Let's call it skin tax, because no matter who you are, no matter how open and you accept everyone at their own personal level for who they are and how they conduct themselves in terms of character and other aspects, we are all, with a white skin, racist neo-Nazis that owe an entire back history of payments to those that have been deemed and selected for victimhood. No one quite explains who's paying me for the Mongol horde that smashed man, woman and child if you didn't surrender, poured hot molten gold down the leaders' mouths if you ignored the message of submit and surrender entirely, and we will not murder you and your citizenry. No one tells me who is paying for that conduct. And some in comments when I've brought it up have said, well, the Mongols have no money. So is this race history revisit part and parcel of a wealth tax for those that were successful, rather than anything around a race issue? And it seems there certainly appears to be that, because the proceeds are being directed to those that seem to have been rather unsuccessful. It just seems that way anyway. But you've got to be careful what you say nowadays, because it's very easy for that to be misinterpreted. So anyway, you get the complete anarchy of Shaz, run by a rapper boy who's extracting skin taxes. There's also been battery, sexual assault claims. Good luck to those white women who aligned themselves with the great downtown Jamaica and are sleeping in the tents there. I think you have to choose your friends very, very carefully, and you've got to know they resent and hate, and the real racists are the people that seek. Listen to this is key element. If you want to summarize one word that this video is going to turn out about, it's the word symmetry. Anytime there is an asymmetry, there is an injustice. I'm going to say that again. Anytime there is an asymmetry, in other words, it is not symmetrical, there is an injustice. You don't correct for any perceived or past asymmetries or technological superiority by introducing transgenerational new asymmetries in the opposite direction. That's not how you correct. You don't have a bike that leans too much to the left on the front wheel and put a massive weight that pulls the rear wheel to the right. It doesn't fix your driving performance. What you do is you correct everything to a point of equilibrium where the weight is balanced evenly and you continue to ride the most successfully. But nonetheless, you'll be told otherwise. You're going to be told otherwise as a white, racist, privileged neo-Nazi, because just by virtue, if you're not fawning on hands and knees, washing feet and repeating statements and paying money taxes over, as some of the cuckold extreme left are doing, you are in essence not checking your privilege. So what's the idea behind defunding the police? Well, more zones like Chaz, I suspect, more zones of freedom, only it's now taxation, skin taxes, sleeping in tents, business extraction, in other words, protection rackets. While talking about non-police, you will actually have an armed leader who is assaulting, bullying, extracting, and no basis for law. and you've been warned you've entered such a zone. Well, the police are staying out, and I think that's political. It's clearly political. It's in Seattle. It's very democratic and extreme left. There are a lot of smart people in Seattle. It's not to say all of them agree with that, but they can run that little experiment, and I can tell you it doesn't end well. So what's the defunding of police? What does the control structure get out of defunding police? When you are plotting a revolution with wholesale changes, in other words, the financial system is going to fail. The social contract is going to be rewritten. This is just on the financial side, because pensions will fail. Debt is going to be written off. All sorts of things will fail. What you do is you bundle all your changes you wish to implement into the one big crisis. You never let a good crisis go to waste. You force on all the things while everyone's head is spinning and they're being wild. It's kind of like being surrounded and in a brawl. There's no chance of winning. There's no chance of watching every single Black Lives Matter person who's circled around you because you're the only one not wearing a BLM t-shirt walking down the high street. They'll hit you from behind, they'll hit you from the left, they'll kick you in the groin. There will be so many things coming your way. You won't check any of them. You'll be left prone on the tarmac taking kicks to the head, as we've seen repeatedly in this egalitarian, non-racist movement called Black Lives Matter for the color of your skin. And it's just deserved, and guess what, you'll be taxed for it later financially as well, no matter how many stitches you have, how concussed you are, and whether you even survive the fact. In the same way, this revolution is going to come at you at so many different levels. You're not actually, when they pull it off, going to be able to cope with all of them. So how do you defend yourself in a situation where so many things are going to be coming to you at such a hurry, and the defunded police will not be there? In fact, those attackers are in fact your government. They're funded government. They're part of, they foot soldiers of a leftist dark state that don't even know they're being used to implement a UBI-based Bolshevism and communism. So going back to the workers' participation rate was absolutely reduced after the 2007 and 8. In other words, far less people are actually engaged in the economy. We have such long-term unemployed that they're not even counted in the numbers. They hide this fact by having the participation rate. And they also hide this fact by many people having zero contract hour, crappy jobs, sometimes 2 or 3 of them, counting as 3 jobs. Meanwhile, it's one person doing 3 different activities to try get close to what he once used to earn when he had one full proper job. So the degree of unemployment has become vast. The problem you have with this COVID is that it was designed to smash SMEs. So self-reliant, capable, libertarian people who want to manage their own lives, business and free time, that ran restaurants, pubs and various other activities, have now been added to this workless masses that are outside of the participation rate. Initially they added in, hence that 20 million that spiked on the non-farm 2 months ago. We amazingly apparently added an incredible number, which I think is just a statistical aberration and a lie, but I don't want to get into that one again. So what the problem you have is, eventually, and we're getting close to that point, so anyone receiving food stamps, welfare, and remember, this is going to be disproportionate, your primary audience of Black Lives Matter, no, not exclusively, poor whites, blue-collar workers that have been cut out, truck drivers that can't be employed anymore because supply chain has broken down, furlong staff, a variety of other areas, and including future policemen that won't want to work as policemen because you're liable to be being politicized, thrown out, having mob rule come to your house if you even make a wrong move with someone who is drunk, high, breaking laws and resists arrest. So we're going to keep adding to this workless rate. Now, when you have the majority of workless people, they will all vote, regardless whether they are naturally conservative, blue or red, they will all vote for the state welfare and handouts. Once you've sat at home for a while and earned 80% of your normal income and had free time to surf the web, do other bits and bobs, do dark black economy activities, maybe sell a few drugs on the side or run a few other miscellaneous activities. Some might do legal things like websites for friends. It doesn't feel worth it to go back, be fully taxed for marginally more, all that commuting and all that's cost. It actually works out better. So what you end up getting is people comfortable with receiving state-based furlonged money for income you used to earn. This also helps accelerate the busting of government. So what we're actually going to do is, as we're adding to this workless masses at a rapid rate, they will eventually outnumber the currently working. When you offer free money to some of the current working that are on the lower levels of the pay scale, they'll probably take that and sit out of their jobs too. So eventually you will have more people voting for the communism. They won't call it that. They'll be voting for the UBI. Don't forget, all those pensions are bankrupt. You're going to have a whole bunch of things that are going to go bust. And what are all those old people that contributed for their entire lives going to do? Well, in a bankrupt pension system, they'll say, here's a new deal. It wouldn't surprise me if the phrase New Deal got used again, or the New Deal, or the New Normal Deal, or any versions thereon. Watch out, this is a sniper scenario cast throwing a line into the future. Watch out for the New Deal. And that's going to be for citizens. And pensions, depending on what contributions you might have paid in, you'll get some degree of government-based UBI, how long you contributed for, etc., etc. So these police that are being defunded, what replaces policing? Well, let me tell you, your grand architects, your universal basic income architects, your Bolsheviks, will have a new form of policing too. There's going to be a new normal in the world of policing, guys. And how might it look? Well, I don't know if you guys have watched the YouTube on Amazon. I was thinking even of serializing it, where a guy does an even-handed interview of Amazon's top employees and at the same time of ex-disgruntled Amazon staff. In that video, you will realize that Amazon won the contract for all CIA servers. AWS, Amazon Web Services, won the contract for all CIA. Many other government departments, including police. Amazon has been providing face recognition software, laptops to police. They are trialing and testing it, and they've given it away for free. The police won't want to give it back. It's a useful tool. It's working to a large degree. Amazon are getting testing. Amazon, before it's a retailer, it's a big data company. It's a big data company, and it builds farms for hosting big data, including government as one of its clients. So now you have a situation where you have a megacorp that is being advertised by the likes of CNBC and all the channels on it. Go and buy your product through Amazon, safely brought to you, COVID-free, all the precautions, yada yada, fish paste. You're getting police and security companies suggesting Amazon-based devices that not only record audio, thinking your Alexa, but also have webcam and cam security. All these cameras are Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled, and they get incorporated, and this is the catch, into a network of surveillance that then taps in, that police can tap in, that they can demand the rights of any coverage that your outdoor front door camera might have taken in capturing an event across the road at your neighbor's house, including inside your house, where you will be perpetually recorded. You've even had the case of Amazon employees fooling and messing with people, using the N-word at a little kid through a device, mucking around while they were watching and testing. This is an eye-opener what is going on in this oligarchical megacorp that is deep up the backside of the dark state. And it involves facial recognition, camera, voice recognition, and this is the key to your future police solution. Everything will become surveillance based. There will be less and less physical police. The governments will be spending a whole batch less. And furthermore, my good friends, what you will in fact get is you're going to get a network of cameras and audio that in the name of protecting you is surveilling you. That is your new police. You think the Pelican Brief, the movie with Tom Cruise, and the other one about pre-crime, not sure I've got the titles right. I don't care to watch that absolute moron too much, but I do sometimes have a check-in just to see the pre-programming that they are doing. The pre-crime will be here. They will know what you say. They will know what you think. They'll know how to market you exactly what you've just been thinking about, because they'll have recorded everything. You know that on browsers they already have enabled microphones that see you suddenly get adverts for BMXs if you say BMX many times. I wish I could buy a BMX. I'd love to see some BMXs. Just try it. Try search for something on a Google browser, talk about it in front of your computer, and watch how fatalistically, empirically, it's almost like fate has spoken to you. Here's your opportunity to purchase that which you were mumbling about, talking about getting fit with your wife, and wouldn't it be nice if we rode bicycles together? How suddenly your marketing will change. You're being tapped and recorded for big data. Big data is one of the biggest elements of the control structure. They will tell you when to buy. They will even make suggestions. That is how deep embedded in your brain they will get. They will have real insight on your activities. They'll know more about how many times you've had sex in the last year than you could even hope to know. How long they'll get to know how many orgasms they think your partner is getting. They will know every minute detail. If you go ahead with installing these Amazon-based products, if you have enabled Wi-Fi, there will be data that is free for the police to demand at all times, and in many instances they will be accessed even without your knowledge. Ron Paul released something and said the key elements behind what's gone on in COVID, much like the 9/11 saga, is the following. They have now made it that under pandemics, scamdemics, they can at any point arrest someone indefinitely without charge or trial. So under what they consider an extreme circumstance, they will have, whenever they put this extreme circumstance period, red zone, think like a martial law, only not in name yet, they can detain, put under prison arrest and hold you, take away your freedom of movement, place you in essentially a cell, and that will be their right to do for as long as that is, for as long as they deem possible. So this is the course of your future police. The defund police movement is first to create the void. Then you start to feel deeply unsatisfied, create the problem with a potential solution, aka Mr. Rapper Big G with the AK-47 extracting white tax from you, beating up the men and women that aren't compliant, and running basically a small pressure group of essentially what I'd describe much like a Jamaican gang gun that has now been exported to the West. Because you see, the communities these people create, there's a reason why they all run to Europe. With all this talk about how racist Europe is, why is it people are perpetually still coming into Europe and America? Well, the answer is simple. Because it's awesome, and people have signaled that there's a big freebie coming their way, and the other guys are going to be out of fashion like you don't know what, and that they are suddenly going to become the leading lights and victims and get entitlements just for showing up. That's the game, and hence this is the Open Society agenda. This is encouraged by Bill Gates. Bill Gates, by the way, South African YouTuber, highlighting that the Nelson Mandela Foundation says violence against whites is justifiable. We need to end this neo-Nazi white privilege environment, and it is funded by all the mega corporations, the RAND Corporation. Bill Gates has funded it, and Open Society as major funders. I should dig out that YouTube South African guy and their statement they made recently about Black Lives Matter, giving a free hand to violence. pointing out that it is justifiable. They've stopped short of calling it heroic to go and beat up someone with a white skin in the name of establishing your equality. Imagine that. Imagine that. We've seen plenty of videos and clips. So, as I say, there is a target that has been put on the back of anyone with a white skin. South Africa is going to be a microcosm, and I fear for the potential to provoke a race war with some false flag neo-Nazi that fires into a black crowd, and then an organized backlash. I maintain that's one of my most scary scenario casts, and that will be a signaling. The slaughter that will come out of that, a well-prepared backlash, would be a signaling for all European and current states in America of the potential future that awaits them. Don't wait till that time. Anyway, so defunded police is going to increase surveillance, camera, and audio recording. People will be requested to pay for it. You could even have it, your remote policing could even be forced upon you by decree and be made to pay for it, like a utility. So you will be made to pay for your own tracking, your own data collection tools, for which they will then harvest on you, selling information and data to anybody who wants to sell anything to you, depending on where you are at and the things it hears you say. So that's my take on the direction of defunded police. Let's talk about, how do you prepare for a revolution? How do you prepare for a revolution? Well, if you don't think a revolution is coming, and you just think, wow, this is kind of an unlucky number, 2020. What a year, you know, it just seems like one thing spills to another, and you feel this is all just random and you're kind of just having a bad year. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're as fast asleep. This is an escalation of an orchestrated agenda with real intent. Real intent. And there is a revolution coming. So what means a revolution, and what will it mean for you, and how do you then prepare for it? What does it mean for you? Let's cover that. Disruption in all supply of food, materials, anything you may need, which could even be gardening tools, right down to fixing your car, duct tape, various very menial items, food, of course, being one of the most critical, utilities, electricity, water, and internet could go down, could have disruptive supply. This will prevent you from communicating and hearing the news you need to hear of where the rioting hordes that are coming to extract their skin tax for your rather white demeanor and lack of melanin will be as they come through. So what do you need to do? I can go into much more detail on all of this, but you know, I've got to try and find a way to keep my YouTube shorter. So let's just stay, and with a real hard-hitting nitty-grit. You need a stockpile. You need to learn stockpile food. You need to stockpile long-term food. In other words, canned food that you can also place in preserved food, preservatives. Let's show you the monkey gang running in on me here. There's some babies in there as well. Hey, you little fella. I wonder if he's coming to extract some tax. Yeah, so you're going to need your stockpile on food. You're going to need to learn how to garden. You're going to need to become capable. You're going to need to learn how to do repairs. You're going to need to buy things in case you need to do repairs. Repairs could be to anything. What you should buy in terms of clothing should be hardy stuff, not high fashion stuff. What you should do in terms of clothing should be hardy stuff. I've got a bike jacket here. This is not fashionable, but if I had to go out and if I got stuck overnight, I probably wouldn't freeze. It's got padding, kind of useful if you get clubbed on the shoulder, or if you fell off something, you got pushed around. You've got to have stuff that you can protect yourself with, that is hardy, that is functional. Functionality over design, over posing. This is not the time for the most expensive pair of Ray-Bans. What you want is something that all protects your eyes and works at night and in day. Might not be a bad time if you're lacking in arms to have arms and ammunition. You may be finding that you're going to have to do a lot more of your own personal defense. There may be hordes, there may be organized mobs that will be directed to certain areas. Now's the time to be a lot more grey a man. Be a grey man. I'm not a grey man. You need to keep your opinions to yourself. I don't do that. You need to keep your views. Now's not the time for a bumper sticker that says vote Trump or vote Biden even. Now's not the time to stick your colors to your sleeve. Now's not the time to buy an out there fancy sports car or something that's particularly customized or individual in design. Now's the time for grey man functional things. A second-hand, hard-working Toyota 4x4 that can go anywhere on big roads and all things, with a big extra sized diesel tank with some fuel back home, is a smarter buy than a purple Lamborghini with an orange interior. So these are the concepts that you need to think about. Silver, gold, medical courses on the ability to deal with wounds in your family or yourself. There could be a higher likelihood of injuries. There's a revolution coming, and your services, such as hospitals, could be overwhelmed or could be cut off. They could have power cut off. We've had fire engines that can't get to put out fires in, of all the places, America. Yes, of all the places, America. You can't put out a fire in America because the rioting mobs are actually preventing the fire engine to getting into your home. Isn't that incredible? Yep, you heard it, and you know it, and you know it's true. There's my buddy. So what else have you got to do? What else have you got to do? Have money or accepted versions of money. Bitcoin is good, but it's electronic. So have silver coins, gold coins, and a variety of any other coins. See, I'm making him nervous. Yeah. So what else should you be doing? So proper medical kits at home, a portable one. Train your family members around you on key things around health, safety, a protocol. They will take the mobile network down, they will take the telephone network down, they will take the internet network down. When you need it most, all the things will be gone away. It's like the old banking analogy. They want to lend you money when you're wealthy, but when you need it most, they don't want to lend it. They give you an umbrella when it's sunny and they take it away when the rain comes. So these are key revolution preparations. Have a network. Localize your food supply. Listen to me now. Localize your food supply. Get where you are not too far away from farmers and you can buy locally from your farmer brown. Direct. Support him direct. Get local on food supply as well. Get local on all supplies, even having a friend that can do reloads on ammunition. Buy 9mm, it's readily available. So make sure you choose your weapons in a manner that benefits that. What else should you do? So radios, CB radios, radio frequency radios, have a protocol, understand it. In the army we used radios. There were no mobile devices, there were no mobile phones, there were no mobile networks, we were in the bush. Communication is critical, and at the time you need it most, that's when you'll be most confused. A wind-up radio, very good idea. A wind-up radio is a very, very good idea. Solar charging batteries, very good idea. You need to start prepping like you're going camping. You need to start prepping in a manner that ensures that you would be able to survive if we go back for a while to the dark ages. How do these guys do a full-blown revolution? They've got to take all the things you rely on most away, and then they give it back to you with new rules. They need the full problem to occur, because they've got a nasty plan that they intend to rain down upon you. They need you helpless. Time not to be helpless. Time to be prepared. If you know in advance that you're going to be attacked by Black Lives Matter in 9 different directions, it's so much better that you like Neo from the Matrix and you can throw kicks and punches in 10 different directions and dodge bullets, because that's essentially what you're going to do. Otherwise, you need not to be in that situation at all. And that's one of the best things, not be in the situation. How do you not be in the situation? Well, you shouldn't need to have to go to town to get anything. How do you not need to go to town to get anything? You have it already, or you're capable of repairing whatever you have that's broken. That's the key. That's how you prepare for a revolution, guys. And if you don't think there's any chance a revolution is coming, then I'm not going to share my rooibos cappuccino with you, which I'm about to have. I'm sorry, you don't deserve a sip. You're just not getting it. You haven't heard what's coming. All the things we've called has come about. And that's not because we're smart. Other people have called them too. It's in the playbook for revolution. You just have to learn your history. They need you to accept a whole new world where government is in everything. You think the Hunger Games was just a movie. It was a manual. You think George Orwell was just some fiction writer. It's a manual. The problem is those manuals are coming to bear right now in your time, and you have to not fall apart in the darkest hour. Do not fall apart in your darkest hour, guys. And the only way you won't, because it's going to come thick and fast. Didn't you recognize we went from COVID, and it took me by surprise, the pace of it, straight into race riots, bud. Straight into race riots. Everybody's just coming out, not even properly out, of a 3 month of males, testosterone up males, locked up and unable to work, straight into race riots. And you wonder why you get some indignant working class British people trying to defend statues as they see parts of their life being pulled apart by people who haven't even contributed to the country for more than 2 generations. But they're all neo-Nazis. Sure, there'll be some thugs. Sure, there'll be some footballers that always up for a brawl after a football match. Sure, they're going to be bad apples, plenty of them. But it's designed to be that way. It's designed to be polarizing events. Antagonize enough people in enough ways, and some of the reactionaries will react. Don't be a reactionary. Don't react. There's nothing to be gained in having a downtown fist fight with a bunch of people. But know that the signs of social unrest that we warned you about are coming, and it's just the beginning. This is a revolution, guys. This is your revolution warning. I'm sorry, in life, many things I got wrong and thought, well, I never really knew that was going to happen. No one told me that we were encountering that. I'm here to tell you, as I take my first sip of my rooibos cappuccino, this officially is your full-blown revolution warning. Someone told you. Okay, you don't get to say afterwards, I never saw it coming, or I didn't think it would get that bad, or I didn't see this coming, or I didn't know that it might entail that. I'm telling you some of the things, because I've already spoken for 37 minutes, and I don't want to make it an hour-long YouTube. But I'm telling you, this is a revolution warning. That means a revolution is 9 times out of 10 probably happening. We've not been far off on the social unrest. The breakdown in supply chain is coming. Localize. Go down and introduce yourself to 3 farmers that are down the road and say, I want to pay you direct more than what a supermarket pays you. And I've got some friends. Can we have a little home market on one day where we come and buy from you? If you're a man and you look after your family and you are the leader of your family, go out and be a goddamn man and sort it out. Go establish that. Introduce your wife so that if you're busy, one day she can go. Make sure you get your localized supply chains. Stock up on things. Learn how to repair things. Learn how to repair useful things. Make sure you know how to use your weapons, whatever you have. Make sure you're fit. Make sure you're fit and able. Make sure you understand healthcare for anything, from bullet wounds to bad cuts to stab wounds and anything that could be revolutionary. If you think it's negative, you've learned something that you hopefully will never have to use. There's nothing wrong with that. Learn how to do CPR. Freshen up. It's coming, guys. It's freaking coming. It's coming. I'm telling you right here, unequivocally, the revolution is on. And it's escalating. And there's going to be so much coming so fast that I'm not going to be able to do YouTubes fast enough to call it or predict the next steps. I'm warning you. 2020. This is the year of quickening. It's happening. Go get prepared so that you can survive this. Any of you want to trade through this, you jump on the links below and you can come and be part of our community. We are set out to profit, I suppose, in fairness, do well, build our financial means to the best of our ability, and also to share information in a community to also ensure that we navigate reset in a manner that sees the best of coming out for all of us. Real information is being shared in our community. Reset is coming. Make your money, make your crypto, buy your silver, get your gold, accumulate, and prepare for lights out. Can you survive lights out? Can you protect your home in an environment where all the lights go out? Do you have a generator? Do you have batteries? Do you have wind-up radios? Do you have all the support you need? I've covered it all. I ain't going to say it again. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. This is your official warning. Your official warning. The governments are going full retard against you. The police are standing down. You could be left on your own. You could be isolated. This is the problem part that is going to promote the reaction they need, that will see them bring in the solution they've always wanted. Your UBI, Ashkenazi, Bolshevik communism, where state is in everything you do. The dark state sees you in your own home. Your home becomes your holding pen for them to monitor you. Avoid it, avoid it, avoid it for the third time. Keep your home free of bugging devices such as Alexa and everything else. Make it a little more difficult for them. Have radios and radio frequency protocols between you and your key family members and community members. The phone network will go down. The power network will go down as part and parcel in the darkest hour. It will not be there when you need it most. No WhatsApp groups, no anything. How will you play it? Okay, that's me done. I ain't gonna say any more. I'm gonna have my first sip of my coffee. It's getting late. Play it safe. Recognize we have spoken. We've called it. We're telling you. It's getting intense. It's going to get worse. It ain't over. The big guys are coming for us. It's been on the cards for a long time. We've been calling it for 13 years. The banks are all bust. Every financial company is bust. The hospitals and everybody is raping and grabbing what they can out of everybody, out of the insurance companies. They're probably going to be all bust on claims. They'll be supported with QE as brought to them by their government. And in the end, they will walk away from it and it will all fold and fall down. And with it, everybody who has debt as an asset item will then be zeroized and your new deal will be brought to you. Watch that phase. A new deal. A new, better deal. More for our modern times. New policing for our new normal. Utilizing the technologies that your government-based oligarchical megacorps are building. Microsoft just got given the Pentagon's server contract. They are all in it, the corps and the state. Okay, with that, go grab the links. Join our community below, grab the mini-series. Love you, bye-bye.